EBS Podcast presents.
You both went to Spain, but different parts of Spain. Where'd you go, Kirsten?
I went to Barcelona.
Ooh, fancy. Do you say now that you've spent time in Barcelona, are you one of those people who are like, it's not Barcelona, it's Barcelona?
With friends, no. But I did feel that when I was there, I started to just say low-key gracias instead of gracias. So I was leaning towards there, but now I'm normal again.
Okay, yeah. You know people hate those people, right?
I know.
Yeah. If you were from Spain, no one would have a problem. But if you're just that person, it's not Barcelona, it's Barcelona. So yeah. And you went to Madrid, right?
Yeah, so I actually went to the Spain part of Spain, Madrid.
It's gonna be an idiot question. What do you mean Spain's? It's all Spain to me. So
yeah, but if you talk with Catalan people, then they will say that this is not Spain.
Yeah.
So this is a big, it's the same people who say Barcelona. So there you go. It's a very hot topic. Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Yeah, I would say two Estonians and an American talking about the geopolitics of Catalonia is going to be a tough podcast to pull off. But don't worry, we're here for you. So let's start it out fresh. Start the clean slate. We're going to Spain, guys. Where'd you go to school, Kirsten?
So my school was called Toulouse Business School, and it had just a campus at Barcelona. That's just it. That's it.
What did you study there? Anything specific?
No, I just took just regular courses, which sounded interesting enough, pretty much.
Okay. Regular course in English, of course, though, right?
Yeah.
I have to clarify that because that was a very I went to school.
Heck no. I learned some Spanish there, but that was like 2 weeks. So yeah, I can pretty much order coffee, but that's about it with my Spanish.
Okay. And you went pre-corona then, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I was the lucky one. I came back in right before Christmas, and in February it all spread. So
yeah, were you there during?
Yeah.
Okay, and before we get there, because I have so many questions about this now. Where'd you go to school?
Yeah, so when I was in Madrid, I went to ESIC business. No, actually, it's marketing and communication school. Okay. And it's Madrid, but it's actually in Pozuelo, which is this very fancy rich people neighborhood, like Viimsi in Tallinn, in Estonia. Sorry. Yeah. I studied also marketing. There wasn't a lot of courses to pick for English speakers. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was either marketing or digital marketing. Now I'm sort of like, oh, sure, there's no marketing without digital. So maybe I should have picked the other one, but no, it's all good. That was 3 years ago. So yeah.
Okay. So you went Wait, okay. Wait, speaking of, okay, now my timeline.
So I was in Barcelona during Corona time. I was in Madrid 3 years ago.
Oh, okay. So you studied there, but you were living in Barcelona.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, let's not go. Yeah, we also don't have to go there.
No, I have so many questions about just the lockdown in general, but maybe that might curtail somebody we're going to get there. We're going to get there. So what are the sizes of the schools? And how big was your foreigner population there? Because that's something that some people would be curious about. Am I going to be solo? Am I going to have friends? What's the Erasmus kind of situation?
In my case, the classes were really small, and the school itself was very similar to EBS. I think we had about 20 people in our class. Most of us were foreigners. I think we only had 3-4 Spanish people. We also had quite a few French, but we also had people from Mexico, Colombia. We even actually had an Estonian besides me in my class, so that was super weird.
Were they from EBS?
Nah, she was actually full-time living there because she just started in Barcelona. I was like, okay, cool.
She doesn't count. It's EBS or nothing.
She's a local.
Yeah, so she's a local. But the people I mostly hang out with were other Erasmuses because we pretty much just found each other, I guess. There weren't that many of us there, 20, 30 Erasmuses, so we just started going out together.
That was that was the entirety of the school, 30 Erasmuses then, or just your group?
For the whole school, yeah, there were about 30 of us.
Oh wow, that is tiny.
Because in my class we had only 3 Erasmuses. So the others were going to different classes because there they had pretty much pre-noon class. Then there's a group for the noon, and there's a group for afternoon who went to school at 5 p.m. or so. So I don't know. The system was kind of weird, but yeah.
I'm sorry. What you?
Like in EBS, we go to school like I don't know from 10 to 3, pretty much. There.
That's if you go to school.
Yeah,
yes.
if you go to school, you know. But there, what happened was like pretty much you had like a group who went there like from 8 to 12, and then a separate group came in like from 12 until like 4, and then the last group started at 4. I don't know why. It didn't make much sense to me, but I guess it made sense to them.
So basically what you're saying is your school was broken up in a way that you were doing like block 4 hours a day then.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the day was like, whatever. Yep. Barcelona.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Did you have the same like...
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Very, very similar. As a school, I think it was also very similar to EBS. It was around, I actually don't know because it's also in blocks, so you never saw like how many people there was actually there. But mainly the Spanish were just living in this rich, nice neighborhood. So they were very posh, very driving with their Mercedes, Porsche. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. But they weren't very friendly, but that was okay because the classes were... So there was the digital marketing and then the marketing group, so to say.
Yeah.
It was very middle school style. Sort of I started classes at 5 p.m. till 10 p.m. every day. Fridays were off, I think.
Wait, you started class at 5 in the morning?
No, 5 p. So like in the evening.
Oh, okay.
So 5 to 10, which was in the beginning pretty rough to have a class at 9 from 9 to 10. But yeah, you get used to it. But yeah, it was sort of like I said, middle school style because you went to one class at 5 and then the teachers were changing around your classroom. So it was the perfect opportunity to make Erasmus friends because first you saw the same people every day. It was amazing if you made friends, you know. So luckily we managed to get a lot of friends and it was great. But yeah, so the teachers came into the class whenever their hours started, and yeah, we just stayed there and didn't move. It was very middle school style, very cool.
I mean, middle school in the States is nothing like that. I get what I get the rotating classes thing. So the teachers just rotate. They all push in a cart and everything,
which was very strange because it felt like they're actually working for us. They're actually coming to be there, which was very, very strange.
Okay. And based on, so you said EBS size. So how big was your Erasmus?
My class then, I guess it was around 40 people.
Oh,
and then there was another 40 of the other Erasmus people. And then I think that was it actually. And then us to the two groups that sort of mingled with each other. Okay.
So then just so I get like a picture in my head.
Yeah.
Are we talking like room 202, 203, where it's like a decent, like how do I say? Actually, let's put it this way. Is it like room 3020 where it's like 80 people in a room, or is it more like 302 where it's maybe like 12 people? It's like one of the new rooms on the side.
No, it's more of the 80 people.
Oh, okay.
I don't really remember the numbers. It was a long time since
no, I'm just trying to reference. I'm trying to make it as school friendly as possible.
No, agreed. No, it was more like 80 people class, and then
I mean, in our case, it was more of like the English classes we had on the second floor. I don't know, just 20 very small classes, but
it seats 20, but only 8 ever show up.
That's another story.
That's the EBS motto. You just sign up for classes, and I love anytime you go on any sort of syllabus and you look at your classmates. And I swear to God, I had a law class last semester, and I was one of 3 people in the class. The class had like 40 people signed up for it, and I don't know. It's an EBS thing. Is it okay? How about this? Is it similar to that as well then, or does everyone show up?
Everybody shows up.
Okay.
Because you could only miss 5 classes per semester.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was the same for us because then you lose pretty much your grade if you miss out too much. Oh, and also another really, really weird thing there was that if you're late to class, you can't enter.
Yeah, same.
If you're it doesn't matter how late you are. You could be only 5 minutes late. They won't let you in, and then they'll mark you as absent. And then if you the same, if you get 5 absences or so, then you're pretty much kicked out of the whole class.
Yeah, we actually had 5 seconds late. The door is gonna be shut to your face.
Yeah,
that is the weird.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you're later than the teacher, you're out.
Yeah, I don't know if our France episode is out yet, but France is a very similar situation where you're only allowed to miss 3 classes, and if you miss it, you're done. And here it's only your class attendance is only 5% of your grade, so most guys are I'll still get an A if I just pass semi okay. We're off track now. We're talking about skipping school, which is not appropriate for a school podcast. But you can't do that in Spain. So, you gotta change your mindset. Be in class. Be a good student. When you're going to these classes and stuff, did you have a really good relationship with your teachers then? Because they're constantly rotating and you have, you're there for a solid hour. They're really engaging. Because I've noticed that in EBS especially, you can get very close to teachers here. And you might see, like, I've had teachers throughout I'd say 75% of my time here, the same teacher, different courses. So you really develop a relationship with them. Is it same in Spain where you can really get close to your teacher? You can really engage them. They're not this like entity where it's like, oh, it's the teacher. You can't get a hold of them. I text my teachers.
I mean, in my case, 100%, like, I think most of them knew my name and so on. So, like, pretty much, as I said, like, I mean, if there's 20 people in class, it's pretty much there's no other possibility than to, like, I don't know, I have a question.
Okay.
And everyone's sure.
Yeah, and I think for me the same, because I've also really in EBS, I think it's also a huge perk that you can have that relationship with teachers, and I really try to take the maximum out of it. And there for sure it's the same. And also I think first class, like, half the teachers tell you like, hey, so first class I'm gonna take everybody's names and I'm gonna learn them by the third class, and they're actually gonna like do it, which is in my opinion very amazing. And I mean they're super nice, and I think it's best to take the maximum out of it.
So they take a really personal approach to education there.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean that's something. I mean, that's something I think is really valuable, especially from an EBS standpoint. If you're going to a different country, the last thing you need on top of moving and all that fun stuff you have to do logistically is worst thing is to have a teacher who is very professionally distant and not super accessible, because it's something we're all accustomed to here, and that's another level of a shock you don't need to your system. So it's really good to hear that coming from that.
And imagine also, I mean, ESIC was like EBS, a private school. They pay 10 to 20,000 per year to go there. So in my opinion, that was like, wait, hey, I'm getting it for like, because I also had a scholarship here, I'm getting it for free, So that was great.
You really cashed out on that one.
I mean, let's say TBS isn't really cheap either. So I also can second that one.
Yeah. So you guys got the scholarships, you got everything, you got the high education for almost nothing. Now see, such an entrepreneurial Estonian spirit right there. You'd be like, did I pick Spain for the weather? No, I picked it for the monetary, like, entrepreneurial experience. They'll boost my LinkedIn in that region of Europe. I love it. All right, we'll move away from the school a little bit. Tell me about your accommodation. How was that experience? Because I've heard so many stories about different countries. Oh, it was great in this country. It was difficult there. How did that work? Just getting in place?
I was just really, really lucky because I know some local people that are not from Barcelona, but they're living here in Estonia. And what turned out was that their stepsister was actually looking for a roommate exactly the same month when I wanted to move there. So I got a place. But overall, like, listening to what my friends went through there, it is an experience of its own. Because like two of them got scammed and didn't get their money back. And
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. Welcome to Spain. Well, yeah, they were kind of like too optimistic, I guess, about it. To like,
okay. While we're on the topic of it, how'd they get scammed?
Well, they found a apartment listing and everything sounded great. They even had like, I don't know, a call and everything with the owner, switched to a lot of emails and so on. Everything seemed perfect. Then they paid the money and then nothing. So
gangster.
But I heard that happens a lot in Barcelona just because there's like so many people wanting apartments there. Oh, and it's hella expensive.
So does the Erasmus program help you with that then? Because I would imagine I didn't do an Erasmus, which is really odd that I host this podcast. I'm just foreign. But it sounds like that's more of an occurrence than it was in France and definitely in Germany. Yeah. But do they help you? Do they point you in the right location? Do they give you resources so that you wouldn't get scammed?
I remember, I think I got one email or like one web page where Erasmus like suggested checking out where they had like pretty much like student rooms or so.
Okay.
But well, since I didn't have to use that one, I didn't really look into that. But yeah.
Did you get lucky finding some Spanish guy's stepsister?
Yeah, I wish. No, I mean, that's why it's good to have 2 Erasmuses. Sort of, you have the first one, you make all the mistakes, and the second one, everything goes perfect. So my Madrid was, firstly, I mean, everybody said, you know, your first idea is like, oh, I don't need to live in the center. Like, you know, does everybody really live in the center? Yes, everybody actually lives in the center. So basically, I was living 20 minutes metro ride, which is not far at all, but sort of like center wise in the middle of nowhere. And I looked it up actually on Airbnb, because also a rookie didn't have any idea how to look for it. It was like, oh, Airbnb is a great opportunity. Yeah, so I ended up staying 4 months in somebody's living room on a sofa. That was an experience on its own as well, especially seeing all my other Erasmus friends who had like very
dope
cool
apartments.
Yeah,
and you were like,
yeah, like but also I saw so many of them which were like sort of, the apartments are built for Erasmus people or students in general. So it looks like you go in 11 bedrooms. It looks disgusting because all the 11 students go to the kitchen, nobody cleans. So in that sense, I had a good experience. But yeah, I was sort of in the middle of nowhere.
So would you rather have lived in an apartment building with 11 students or the couch?
11 students would have been more fun in that sense, but I think I sort of took the maximum out of it. I just didn't stay too much on that sofa. Okay. You know, but maybe if I would have had like a nice room, I would have actually stayed more in my own room.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
Couch life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a business opportunity, because that's something I've thought about doing. Because we always got Erasmuses coming in and out. Just build up a little small house or a village thing in the center city and just like overcharge Erasmuses. It'd be like, they lied to you on the Visit Estonia YouTube. They lied. Internet's not free. It's 45 euros a month. You would make bank on that.
You make good photos, you know. You sort of, there was like a curtain separating the living room from the kitchen. So I was like, oh, it's a room.
Yeah, it's a room.
It's not a room.
It's a room if you make it. It's about your mental capacity to make it. So okay, I'm actually interested to know. So your classes were from 5 to 10, and your classes were from 8
to like I don't know, 12 or 1, something like that.
Did you guys then have different experiences with say your social life outside? Because you must have had the mornings to do whatever you wanted, and you had the nights to do whatever you wanted. Is it something that you would have like rather changed? I would have preferred morning classes. I would have preferred night classes. How does that make you guys feel retro, like thinking about it now?
I think I actually got the perfect one, because like I'm more of a morning person anyway. So pretty much how my days turn out was that since most of my friends were actually in the afternoon classes, well, once I finished my school, I went to the gym, and once I was done there, then they were pretty much free, and then we did everything fun, I guess. Okay. So in that sense, I think I've got the perfect timing school-wise.
Yeah, no, for sure. I also had the perfect timing. You know, you go to the class 5 o'clock, you finish at 10. The only option is to go party. You go party, you wake up in the morning a little bit hungover. No, you still have time. You have a workout also before class. You go to class, you party again in the evening. It was amazing. That lasted for like the first 4 weeks, and then you're exhausted and you can't do it anymore. You know?
I'm just exhausted hearing about it. Like, I do stand up and I'm so tired at the end. It's just, I don't know, like my schedule right now is like I work from 9 to 5, and then I have like an hour at home, and then I'm off to the road, whether that's going to Tartu or that's going to the city. I don't live in the city, so I had to transit all the time. And I get home at like 9, 10, and I'm just like, I got friends be like, you want to go play video games? You want to go out? Want to go out and have a drink? I'm like, no, I want to sleep and be sad because I'm tired as...
Yeah, for sure. I think the key is you don't go home after the class, because it was a train ride from Madrid, actually. Yeah. So everybody goes together to the train, and then you go get off in the center and you go out straight.
Ah, okay. So you weren't going home or anything.
No, that's the breaking point, you know. That's the moment when you're like, oh, I can't do this. No, you can.
Yeah. It's like, so yeah, I guess like once you take your shoes off, you're like, I got to put the shoes back on.
Yeah,
I got to get ready. It's too much at that point to do anything. So yeah, and what was your guys'? I guess we're already on the topic of extracurricular activities. Let's put it that way. What was your guys' your nightlives like? How was that comparative to Estonia?
Interesting.
Better than studio?
Lively, yes. Like, well, actually stuff happened there. Like, I don't know, there were people, and I'm not saying there's no people in Estonia, but there's not even closely as many people, and they're Estonians. No, like I don't know, if you go out to anywhere in Estonia, you see at least like 5 of your friends. Like you weren't planning to see them, you see them, because I don't know, it's just so small. But there, I don't know, you met so interesting people, and the nightlife in itself was wonderful.
I love how you're like, yeah, if you just go anywhere in Estonia, you meet like 5 of your friends. If you were in Madrid and you just like took the wrong turn, you would never be seen again. It's just
that's a topic of its own. But I mean, all the like main clubs and so on are in these safer areas, so like there's like no problem with that in that sense.
Same is the same for you? It was like there's specific places you would go then?
Yeah. I think they sort of, you know, you just reach those places similarly every time. But I think it's also, you try to avoid in my case at least, you try to avoid the really Erasmus parties, because there's really a lot of like Erasmus 2021 party. And
I hate those.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so I really tried to, I mean, me and my friend group, we tried to look for the places that actually have some locals as well. And I think that made it a lot more fun, because the music is more Spanish, and you know, perhaps, but also there's a lot of you know, really good music in general. So I think the nightlife in Madrid, like I said, the first 4 weeks before I got sick and I couldn't like live anymore because I partied so long, that was great. I do think Tallinn nightlife is, you know, has its own perks as well, but in Madrid for sure, the fact that also you go to a club, you're sort of, you know, you don't need to have like 5 coats on to go to a club.
Oh my god.
Although in Madrid, differently from Barcelona, I think when you go out September, October, you're like, cool, you go with one jacket, you come out, you're still okay with your light jacket. But let's say already November, you come out from the club, the temperature has gone from, I don't know, 20 degrees to 6 degrees. So the temperature amplitude is really big in Madrid. That was something that you really experienced at the moment you get out of the club and you're like, oh shit, it's freezing.
Yeah, but then you're like, I'm Estonian, I could take this.
No, then all your friends are like, Maria, you're not supposed to be cold, you're from Estonia.
Yeah. I mean, so it was very, I guess, even if you remove because my thing with this is my thing that I've never understood about the Erasmuses who come here is, one, anytime you go to an Erasmus party, they're always trying to like sell you on a business idea, or they're trying to tell you about like why their school's better or where they're coming from. And it's always like, hi, my name's Gerald. I'm from Germany and I study this X, Y, and Z, and I have a personality. It's like, it is what it is. But like, I've always found that you have a much better cultural experience when you get out of that. The point of coming to a different country is to experience that country, not hang out with the Erasmuses that would be at your school as well, because you can get that anywhere.
And I think in that case, that was really difficult that we were all in the same class with all the Erasmuses, you know, because it was almost impossible to actually reach out to the Spanish people in the school. Okay. I think that was really challenging.
Outside of the Erasmuses, how was the international community? Was it supportive, or were you kind of like left on your own, or were you like, do what I did and just be like, you know what, I'm going to move to Estonia and I have maybe 3, 4, 5 foreign friends. Everyone else is Estonian. So like, what was your take on it?
I think in that case, you're sort of lucky, because I think Spanish people in general, maybe Catalan even more, they like to be in their own communities. They like to be in their own friend groups. Estonians also. So, you know, good for you that you have a lot of Estonian friends.
Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah.
But I think in my case, it was just the Erasmus friend group that we really early, like we sort of bonded, that sort of, you know, carried out till the end. And I think that was the, you know, the Erasmus group, but it was still very cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think the same, because I was living with, well, actually Spanish people or Catalan, and they were like mostly hanging out with their own friends, and like I was with them a few times, but they mostly switched to Spanish at some point of the night. So then I started chilling there, like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I don't understand a word. So that's why I mostly hung out with the Erasmuses also. But I did get a few local friends, and then with them we pretty much hung out a lot also.
Okay. And you guys, so you speak a little Spanish, and do you speak a little Spanish as well then, or?
I speak quite a lot of Spanish, but I'm not gonna do it here.
Oh, so I was not gonna ask you.
It's always something that, you know, when you say like, oh yeah, I sort of understand and I speak quite okay, then everyone's like, oh, okay, tell me something. And you're like, no.
Yeah. ¿De dónde está la biblioteca?
like, I don't want to do that.
Oh no, I have the similar feeling with Estonian. Anytime someone asks me like, oh, you've lived there for 4 years, or I'll be hitting 4 years in August. Like, you speak Estonian? I'm like, absolutely not. Like, I can order food and that's it, because I just don't. I love it here. I just don't really want to learn your language. You have 14 cases, and it's too much. If I could circle back a little bit, you were saying that there were safe parts of the city. It's the EU. I don't really see any parts Narva, but I don't really see any parts as ultra dangerous. Was there really parts of cities you were as like a no-go kind of zone, or was the crime or something a thing there? I don't know, so that's why I'm curious to ask.
I mean, in Barcelona's case, yes. But that was like the most touristy area, pretty much, because, well, what has happened there is that there's so many immigrants there that they're mostly like making their living out of pickpocketing tourists. Besides me, there was one person in my whole friend group who didn't get anything stolen or wasn't like threatened with a knife. So that was fun.
Sorry, you said you were the only person?
No, and me and one more out of our 30-something friend group.
So your odds are 1 in 15.
Pretty much.
That you won't get threatened with a knife.
I mean, that only happened to like 2 or 3 people, just because they were like going in the wrong streets at the wrong time, pretty much. Yeah.
But this being said, by the way, this is an educational program, so thank you for bearing with us. So were you okay? Because when I lived in Turkey, I knew that there were parts of the city that were, as a foreigner, you wouldn't go to. I knew there were parts of Istanbul, like, this is completely safe, and there's always concern, but you're never really super concerned. Was there enough concern that like the school was telling you like, hey, you shouldn't go here, that kind of thing?
Well, I think on our first day there, they did like a mini session of like, pretty much like, don't hang out in those streets that much, and like pretty much be there instead of there.
And was it a kind of situation where it was those are a no-go zone in general, or it's like, hey, at night this might be risky? The
school said like more of a in general, but like in reality, like, you still probably are gonna pass those streets during the day, because like during the day they're full of tourists anyway, and like it's just like one of the most passed by streets.
Oh, okay, so it's mainly like a tourist scam kind of area. Okay. All right, that's every city has that.
But it's like I've never been threatened with a knife here.
You have never been in front of Old Hansa. That's your problem. They will get you, hey, do you want to try this drink? Do you want a free little sample? And you're like, yeah, sure. You go in the shop and you just somehow got robbed 60 euros and you left with a candy bar. Like, what just happened?
But I guess it's like also like, it depends on the way you look, pretty much. If you look touristy AF, aka I'm like hella tall blonde girl, like, I think I would look like a tourist.
You look like a Viking.
So I don't really look that Spanish. So I guess if you're a local, then you don't really care that much, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I have the same thing. I've always been warned like, oh, these people are dangerous. I'm like, I've been here for quite a time, just be like, what are you talking about? And just walk away. So that's your experience in Barcelona. In Madrid, what was your...
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go back to Barcelona. I don't think I agree with you. I mean, you're talking about El Raval now.
Yeah,
so I lived there for 4 months.
Ooh, we got a little debate going.
No,
it depends on the streets.
I just think it's really funny that it's always, told to people like, don't go there, it's dangerous. And then, what you actually find, of course, don't leave your phone in the back pocket, the common sense, but basically what you actually find is like the best cooking and the best restaurants in the whole Barcelona.
Oh yeah,
So in my opinion, this getting not knifed, right? You just
stabbed.
It's just threatened with a knife, just it doesn't
threatened, actually, they didn't actually kill anyone.
Yeah, so it's cool. No.
So I guess what we're getting here is if you want really good paella, you have to, paella. You got to get stabbed for that paella.
No, but I agree, because I was told the same thing. But as I live there, I really don't see the huge danger of it. Sure, you see like police every corner, but
I would say it also depends on like whether you're like, I don't know, with a friend group or alone. Because I went there with friends all the time, so
yeah. No, I'm not gonna debate. Also,
no,
it's fine. I agree. But in Madrid, I wouldn't. Like, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
I think it's like, just like you said as well, that it's a lot about your own attitude and how you look, you know? So if you sort of don't look like you're super scared of somebody, you know, taking your phone or stabbing you, then you're probably going to be fine.
Yeah.
I don't think I lost my phone. No.
I'm so going to have a conversation with Lisa after this. She'll be like, why are you talking about stabbing so much? She walked it. You guys remember she walked in the room like, she's like, do a good job, Caleb. Safe
Be
podcast.
Good. Yeah, be good. Yeah.
So do you want to learn how to get stabbed in a city? Okay. I try to have as much fun on these podcasts because I like to really dive deep into the experience itself. Like that's what we're trying to get out of the podcast is really, what did you get out of it? Because I mean, let's be honest, we could talk days and days. Well, the library had so many books. The education there was superb. I think it's ironic that people, like, I understand where some people get the idea of, hey, we should we should really sell the school and we should talk about the school. It's like, no one is going to the school for the school. They would have paid to go there. I mean, like, look at our own Erasmuses. How many do you see on orientation day? And how many do you see the next day? They're not there. I mean, even in EBS, they had it. Do they still do the thumb stamp thing?
I don't know.
Did they do that with you when you started here?
No.
I
What is
think
that?
I had that.
Oh, it was so. I think maybe it was a foreign thing. Maybe it was just for some odd reason when my orientation day here, brought us up in the large hall on the 4th floor, right? And they had cards on the ground. You had to stand behind one.
Oh yeah.
And they walk. They walk one by one. They take your thumb. They they take an ink pad. They take an ink pad. They roll your thumb in blue ink, and then you stamp a paper as if like you're joining a cult. Did you guys have this in Spain?
Maybe I like blacked out of like from my memories, but no, I don't.
Oh, I posted on my Instagram story being like, "This is a cult."
No, don't remember that.
But I think like the ceremony in general is really special to EBS. Did you guys have something special to that in your school?
In our case, unfortunately, now we like pretty much the only thing we have was a mini orientation hour, pretty much where they spoke like, oh, like, I don't know, the city is this, school's here and here and here, and I don't know. That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, we had the first day. Let me think. I think we went down to the canteen and there was like wine and beer, and that was.
Do you mean vino and cerveza?
There was vino and cervezas, and there was so much vino and cervezas, and that's like.
Wait, at your school?
Yeah, exactly. So that's like the ultimate bonding, you know. You go sort of, I'm sure we had those presentations also in the beginning, you know, like, hey, this is ESSEC, you know, do this, do that. And then they're like, oh yeah, let's continue this in the canteen, and with all the Erasmuses, obviously. And then the waitresses come with the
waitresses
at
a school.
Yeah, with the vino and cerveza, like you said.
Was it a special night kind of thing, or was this like you were like
in the middle of the day?
No. I'm saying like, was this a special occasion for the school, or was like you had waitresses throughout the semester?
We did have vino and cervezas in the canteen selection throughout the semester, and a lot of students, I think they did have sometimes maybe some beers during the day, but I mean after their classes, you know, the morning shift, like Christin said, you know.
I should have.
But no waitresses though during the semester. Yeah, we had to like pay for it, you know.
You have dumbfounded me.
That was very surprising, but it was like super good experience as a you know, Erasmus. It's like, you know, from the first second you make friends, you know, you go Estonians even.
Yeah,
you know?
You need that drink in the culture to. So let me put it this way: go back. We're gonna do a really big circle back. You were there from school from 5 to 10, right? And how long were your classes?
45 minutes one, so it was 5 classes.
Okay, so you had every 45 minutes 15-minute break.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Was there enough time between those 15 minutes you could run down, grab a drink, come back?
Yeah, potentially. We used it usually for like bocadillos, like the sandwiches, because we're actually, you know, 5 to 10, you're sort of, you don't really know if you should eat dinner, if you should have lunch, like you don't. It's
yeah, I'm trying to see like if you could challenge yourself to pay attention in class.
Yeah, so probably no beers, and then by the time we had finished, the canteen was closed already. So sort of, yeah, if you were planning on going out after, you might have like, you know, put one drink in between the 9 and the 10 class.
You totally, oh my God, on a Friday, you had the ultimate schedule.
I'm telling you, it was the best schedule.
You literally could have pre-gamed at school, in classes, and then just went out. I assume this is what you did.
I mean, yeah, mainly I do think that we tried to keep the drinking,
No, I'm not. I'm just saying
school.
theoretically here.
Theoretically,
yeah.
Theoretically, yes, we could have, but I do think we did it in the train on the way to Madrid.
Okay, so then let's talk public transport for a second. You can drink publicly then there? There's no problem there? Because I've been yelled at by the Elron lady before.
You can't in Spain.
Yeah, no, it's.
Well,
I'm in
Barcelona.
Do you need to be? Yeah.
I mean, like, is it the kind of public where, like, if you put it in a paper bag and you twist it and they can't tell that there's no questions, or?
Yeah, I mean,
then
no one's.
fine.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Okay,
fine. Like,
all right.
if you're not doing it public, you're not like loud and like not drinking all over it.
If you don't have your vodka with you at the metro station, then it's all good.
Yeah, if you don't have a handle with you.
No, I think if they would see a vodka in your hand, they would just be so mesmerized by actually seeing like a
That's
hard
true.
liquor that they would just be like, oh,
by
what
the
is this? You know?
I think like the most common vodka they had at their grocery store was like 32 vol, and I was like, what is this?
Yeah, it gets you
Coming
confused
from
on the
Estonia,
concept
you
of
know.
vodka. Yeah.
It's not. I mean, hey, it's a school podcast again. This is going to be a great conversation with Lisa afterwards. Hi, Lisa. So yeah, I got the warning about 4 minutes ago that we were hitting 30. We hit 30 minutes. So yep, we're half an hour done. And this is like kind of the wrap up stage of the podcast. So I like walking through the audience. I like talking to the audience. The audience is part of me. It's weird to say that. But is there something that someone who is thinking about going to do Spain as their Erasmus that you wish that someone told you this? Like, what's that thing?
I mean, I guess in my case, like, pretty much 100% go for it, because like the only like pretty much downside of the whole experience was the cost of rent there, but at the same time, I don't know, the food, the restaurants, the drinks at bars and so on are all so cheap that they kind of even each other out. And if you get a good place, I don't know, maybe you go with a friend or something and you can split the rent, then it's all good.
How much was your rent anyways?
I rented a room and it cost 400. But utilities included. But I know that one of my friends who was kind of a more posh girl, like she had her own apartment, and that was like around 900, I think, or like 1,000.
Good prices.
Okay, all right, yeah. So you were saying you paid 400, but the room rent then was 800 a month?
No. Like I paid for a room, and that was 400. But I have a friend who got a whole apartment. So she paid like, I don't know.
Basically, you got really good
1,000.
prices for Barcelona. That's great.
Yeah.
What'd you get? What were you?
For my sofa?
Yeah. How
I
much
also
was your
paid
sofa?
400. Yeah.
You paid 400 for a sofa?
Yeah.
Was it the kind that turns into a bed sofa or just like a sofa?
No, luckily it did. And the apartment had a dog, so it's all it's fine. But yeah, I think
you gotta
most
rent a pet.
Yeah, I think if you do go to Spain, you should take into account that your rent is probably going to be around 600.
Okay.
Especially Barcelona, Madrid. I think if you want a room, then for sure like 600, and it's a nice room, maybe even with the balcony. But yeah, I mean, maybe you can add later. But I think I would also say if you go to Spain, something I definitely did a lot, but I would also recommend to like go around Spain, see a lot.
Yeah.
Also take take a plane to Portugal and go around there. It's so close and it's so affordable comparing when you would go from Tallinn, that I think you should really take the maximum out of it. And and especially with the train and with the bus, it's super easy. And there's the BlaBlaCar, which is a car sharing thing. It's very easy.
Like the City Bee?
No, but because somebody actually drives the car and then like he or she is selling the spots in the car.
Oh, Uber.
Yeah, for long distances.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay. So, all right. Yeah, that
yeah.
makes sense.
And that was like super affordable, and sometimes the distance 4 hours driving, so it's really
okay. So was it like a stranger's car, or was
yeah?
Like, oh,
and it's called BlaBlaCar.
Okay.
It's BlaBlaCar. It's actually huge in France, Spain, Italy. I think
that doesn't
well.
sound terrifying at all. I mean,
and now with the Corona, everything has changed. You don't want to share a car with a stranger, perhaps.
Oh no, it's not even that. Like when I lived in Istanbul, I don't speak Turkish, and I just knew how to say left and right. and I'd be like, I'd tell the taxi driver the area, and I would point with my hands, being like, yeah, this way, this way, this way, and just navigate. I can never imagine just like getting in a car like, hey, you want to drive 600 kilometers in the dark? Let's do it. That sounds terrifying to me, but it sounds like a very nice experience.
Yeah.
You got to make road trip friends then, I guess?
Yeah. I mean, they were mainly the same. You know, that's what I would recommend perhaps, to make a lot of local friends, but you really need to go the extra mile. Like, you really need to take the initiative here. And then the same with learning the local language, in that case, Spanish.
Yeah.
It's something that, like, I went and I had the 1 year of Spanish here in EBS, so I really had a good base.
Yeah, Tia, right?
Yeah, so a great teacher, like amazing. You know, I had
teacher.
such a good base, so I went like, okay, I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna be fluent. It takes effort, you know. It doesn't just magically appear, this language. You need to make local friends, which I didn't, or study in Spanish, which is something I would recommend also.
Sounds terrifying to me. I only speak English, so yeah. But what you're saying, I guess, is you have to learn more than ¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
But
like,
even at that point, if it's not just the learning Spanish, is it difficult to get around the city in English? Because I have no problem here getting around with just English. So what about Spain? Do you have like?
I definitely tried to avoid it, to talk to locals in English. I don't know.
I was way more comfortable. I spoke English almost all the time.
I like how these are vastly different experiences you guys had. You're like, this is a very safe country. Like, I almost got stabbed in the alleyway. Oh my god, this is like the ultimate podcast for this series, because it's just like two dichotomies. Which one do you want? All right. I'm trying to think of where to finish up the podcast with, because it's one of my most enjoyable episodes. It's sad it has to come to an end though. But what's your favorite memory of Spain? And are you guys planning to go back at all? That's something that's probably important. I mean, right now you can't, but like, you planning to go back? Because I know you did your Erasmus, and then you left. You came back home, and you're like, I must go back. And then you left for what, another year?
Yeah, I was for a year working there.
Oh, you just went to work?
Yeah, worked and lived there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you gonna go back, or what's?
I mean, it was sort of a, let's come back to Estonia for a holiday, and then the corona is, is sort of very, very much there right now. So we sort of stayed here.
Yeah, it's really popping out there.
Yeah, it's really popping, right? So yeah, that was really sad actually, because right now, you know how the iPhone thinks that it's super smart to go like 1 year ago today, and then you see like yourself in a t-shirt in Barcelona, and you're like, oh, that's great. Thank you for this.
And then you look outside, and you're like, we have 12 inches of snow.
So yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely want to go back. Like, I definitely want to go and work there. But like, the thing is, well, I want to like start my career here and then later on go there.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it for sure? Sorry, for sure. Now it's the unemployment goes, over the roof.
Yep.
Is it difficult to get a job there?
I got lucky. I worked for a startup, which was mainly English-speaking people, but I do think they obviously prefer, like secretly, they for sure prefer somebody who speaks fluent Spanish, like fluent, not just.
Okay, yeah. I mean, my experience here with getting a job and stuff is it can be quite daunting to start with, especially as I don't speak any Estonian, so like I can't be like, I speak A1 level Estonian. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I'm not. But like, as long as you develop your skills, you can really find a job doing almost. And that's the beauty of business school. You can get around with almost any sort of. You can literally do anything that's an office job after EBS. You'd be like, marketing, I took a course, and you probably know my professor. They'll give me a letter of recommendation. But I assume it's not so much like there. But as a foreigner, was it easy just like search for a job, find a job, or?
That was also one of the things, because I quit my job mid crisis, I guess, and sort of looking for a new one. And there was a lot of, you get to the interview stages, you get to the next one, because Barcelona for sure is like a huge hub for great startups. There's like a lot of like actually great startups worldwide. So I think that was great. So there's a lot of places to apply. But like you said, because then I was sort of looking for a entry-level, mid-level job. And then it's difficult, because then they want you to speak the language, especially when you're applying in marketing, because, marketing usually goes in the local language.
Yeah.
I think that was my issue. If I was a product manager or something like that, I think the language would not be an issue.
Okay. You didn't work there?
I didn't work there.
You just were like, I'm on Erasmus vacation.
Yeah, I was pretty much on a 5-month vacation.
Oh, that's
That's how Erasmus should be. You know?
Yeah, no, it's,
like
it's like half the course load, and I only gotta kind of show up. Yeah, perfect. All right, guys, but do you have any last comments to say before we wrap this podcast up?
I think something I would say that, you know, take the maximum out of it, but in that sense as well, that try to take your Erasmus semesters so you don't actually have to do extra semesters in EBS. I did 2 Erasmuses, but I still graduated in 3 years. I think that's a huge perk. You know, that you don't actually have to take the 4th year at EBS because you're sort of trying to get the...
Yeah, you're that one in a million who's going to be able to accomplish that.
But sort of, if you're taking 1 Erasmus, I think it's much more reachable. You know, that you sort of try to manage it in that sense that you can, you know,
you
do the whole thing.
It makes sense. You double up on a different semester and then you're clear in 3 months. So, any last...
I guess the same thing. Like, I'm also like planning to graduate at least now. And also, like, if you decide to go, like, definitely travel like outside your city. Because, like, I went to Andorra and it was great.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Is there a way that any sort of student watching can contact you guys if they have questions? You guys got an Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Pinterest board. What's the best way to reach out to you?
Yeah, for me, I think they could just write to my Instagram. It's Maria Paalma, double A, very Spanish, but with the double A in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my Instagram is at CHR1SSU. Which is why I didn't want to really
so like
say
Christo,
that.
But like instead of the I, there's a
but,
one.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. That sounded like an automatically generated username to me.
My inner Siri came out.
Alrighty. Well, guys, thank you so much for the time sitting down with me. I really enjoyed having the conversation. And you know what? Also, I got to thank the audience. Thanks, guys, for if you're still here listening. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I guess we're going to have to wonder where we're just going to go next episode. Thanks.